ما أريد من هذا الشعب إلا أن يزيد في الحمد والشكر إلى الله عز وجل، ويزيد من محبة الوطن، ويزيد من العمل ومضاعفة العمل لما يسعى فيه من خير له وللدولة والأهل. هذا اللي أنا أدوره من الشعب، وربنا إن شاء الله يوفقنا جميعا على ما يحب ويرضى.
Hello everyone, today we have a very remarkable and inspiring story. We are here in URUK to focus and come up with the very nice story about Dr. Mashal Nawab. He have a very long journey from Iraq to Dubai. Today we're gonna discover all the details in very soon.
A remote area in Iraq, in the heart of the Diyala province, 100 kilometers northeast of Baghdad. The place is called Al-Mansuriyah, Arabic for hard rock. A 4-gas turbine power plant shall be erected on this ground.
We started from absolutely zero.
It's a really challenging job.
يسعدني ويشرفني بأن أتقدم باسمي وباسم شركة URUK للهندسة والمقاولات بالشكر الجزيل لقيادة دولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة.
Hello everyone, new episode of the Pillars of Union. As usual, every time we come up and search about remarkable story who's really based in Dubai. And today our story is different. He's come up from Iraq and today he's in Dubai. But the most remarkable situations and steps that he did it, he have a very remarkable shifting career. Today I'm welcoming Dr. Mashal Nawab, the Chief Strategic Officer of URUK. So we are so happy to discover because your story is remarkable, valuable, and we're gonna discover the secrets of the shifting career. Let me welcoming you first.
Thank you, and I'd like to thank your channel and your program for hosting me today. I hope will enjoy this interaction as we move forward. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am a medically qualified doctor, and I'm also an academic doctor with a PhD. I had focused most of my career in medicine, and I was a senior lecturer in the University of London and a consultant at King's College Hospital in London as a pathologist. which I did for several years. After that, I came to the region and I set up a laboratory service, multidisciplinary, fully accredited internationally here in Dubai. And I followed that with a larger one in Erbil in Iraq.
So you said Iraq and Erbil. Let's us to memorize a little bit how you start your journey in Iraq.
Well, I'm a graduate of the Iraqi Medical School. So I graduated in 1983 as a junior doctor. At that time, you'll recall there was the Iraq-Iran war. So I had to join the medical corps of the Iraqi army. I only got to the third line evacuation for patients. What you have if you evacuate your patients, you do them on stages. You have the first line, اللي هو قريب خط التماس, and then you have the second line, which they have surgical units, which is the MASH units. You are underneath the barrage of artillery. Then you have the third line, which has far stronger facilities, but it is outside the range of the artillery. And this is as far as I went to that direction. I was at the third line. And it was a terrible time because of all the fatalities that wars do bring. And it was a vicious war. And it's an 8-year war, which tired everybody concerned, got tired from that war. And after that, I had graduated third on my year in college, and they allowed me to go for higher education. So all of a sudden, they took off my military clothes, put me on civil clothes, put me on a plane, and sent me to London. Really wow. And I went there to do a PhD in pathology. And I did that for 3 years. And once I'd finished it, I was going to go back to Iraq. Previous president decided to move into Kuwait. So that stopped all my plans to go back at that time, because you need to have and I had young children at the time, so I had to consider them as well. And ultimately, I had to stay in London, went up the non-academic, the clinical way, going all the way up to member of the Royal College of Pathologists, then fellow of the Royal College of Pathologists. And then in 2002, I came to the UAE to set up pathology services here.
When you're based in Iraq, what is the most memories that really near to your heart? Really, until now, you put it in your mind and your heart.
I think it's very true that for everyone who leaves this country, he will leave something there behind. You are never able to take everything that with you. Something will stay back. And that's always going to draw you in some way. It always will create within you a desire to come home. And that can be very strong sometimes. Practicalities of life, sometimes you have to fight that urge until you are able to ensure that your safety, security, financial situation, and that of your family can be secured.
True.
Iraq, as you probably know, is more landlocked than most countries. If you go to a country like Lebanon or Syria, you have a big sea, and the sea draws people out. Get on a boat and go and see the world. When you're landlocked, you don't really move that far away from where you are. And we all grow up as being really well planted into the ground. But circumstances will prevail, but this is one of the reasons why I like working here at URUK, because URUK has an ethos given by our managing partner that we must help rehabilitate Iraq. We have the capabilities, we have the know-how, we are the brain drain that left. We need to bring it back as we can and help bring the country back again.
So since you start your journey, it's a little long journey. So what is exactly the value and the skills that you learned and until now believe this is the most important for succeed?
The learning process is in two types. The first is as a medic. The medical profession is one of, probably in my view, one of the most valuable professions from the humane side of it. It is one of those things that when people really have a problem, it's the medical side that can hold them up, hold their hand, bring them back to health.
True.
And that is a very potent element. It's quite tiring for the physicians because it's a 24/7 on. You really don't have an easy life, even in the family, because you're pulled away all the time.
You cannot live.
Well, you can live, but it's like they say in Star Trek, it's life, but not as we know it. You know, that kind of thing. So from that, you start to go again and then you train, because the idea is to train trainers. Every doctor should be able to take on board a junior doctor, because medicine has a little bit of apprenticeship, exactly like carpentry. When you have a carpenter, the next carpenter is a young man who will learn from him directly. We have a lot of that. So when the surgeon is a good surgeon, I go to him, I learn everything that he's going to teach me. That apprenticeship is a very close function that works very well within the medical field. And all in all, it's been a wonderful thing, particularly since the research. I was involved in quite extensive research in the United Kingdom. I won an accolade. I got the President's Prize in 1990. I think it was in 1991. No, 1993. I got the President's Prize for research in England, which was for me quite a happy occasion.
Fantastic. So each of us have an exceptional experience, many of them. But what is the most important one to you that really you said, this changed Dr. Mashal, this has changed you 100%, this experience?
Oh, that's easy. I got married. And my wife, this
is the most important one.
The change that my wife gave me is this is the best change I've ever had. People talk about the two sexes, and that one sex is this and one sex is this. To my mind, sexes are there because they make a whole. And if you find somebody in that vein, it's just that's bliss. My sanctuary in this life is home. Whenever it's really tight, I just go home, get completely revitalated, and go back out.
So this is the most important one in your life.
That's the one I would always say, that's the best step I took, yes.
And in career side?
In career side, there are many publications that were quite interesting in kidney disease, which we were working on. I was working with an American group in Buffalo, New York. But that was before I came over here, and we were getting some quite good results for that research.
Long journey, many years passed. Who's supporting you in this long journey? Let's remember to people who's really...
In the beginning, all support begins with your parents, in my view. Their effect on you is incalculable. Literally, they have made you in many ways. So family unit is very important to me, particularly for anybody who has a stressful job. Family unit is the best thing that he or she can ensure that they will have a place where they can get their mental sanctuary at. I've already mentioned my wife. I have 2 children, which make me extremely happy. And we have 2 dogs as well. So they're also parcel of the family as we go. And all in all of those have really given me the impetus to really carry on what I want to do.
So let's move a little bit to discover URUK today. It's a big company. It's based in the UAE. and some of your work or most of your work between the UAE and Iraq. So let's start to introduce this big company to the audience, what you are really behind the name, the come up of the idea even of the name.
URUK is considered to be the oldest city in civilization. As you know, Iraq was Mesopotamia at the time, the valley of the two rivers, and on it most of civilization came about. We from the Iraqi side believe that we had the earliest. I know a lot of my Egyptian friends say no, they had it earliest, and some Chinese friends say the same. But to me, I'm very confident that because writing came from us, the Mismari writing came from Iraq, we claim that this was more part of the consolidation of population to actually bring writing into it. Because if you're all alone, you don't need to write anything. When you're many people, you need to be able to report and record things. And at its zenith, URUK had between 50 to 80,000 people living in that city. This is an astronomical number for that time. That number is baffling for that time. But also, in legend, it is also the city of Gilgamesh.
Okay.
The legendary king Gilgamesh, he built the aswar, the fortifications of URUK. That's what they say. And so that has a lot of people in the West are quite familiar with the Epic of Gilgamesh. And it's quite well, spoken about and known. So that's why we wanted the name.
So when exactly URUK start in Dubai?
The company was formed in Dubai in 2003 with the arrival of our managing partner, Dr. Jafar Jafar. And it's been working throughout that time, from that time in Iraq, at quite a difficult period that Iraq was undergoing and going through. But we have been successful in putting some major infrastructure on the ground there.
Fantastic. And what is the story behind Dr. Jafar?
All of URUK, all of us and everybody within URUK are extremely proud that we have a scientist of Dr. Jafar's caliber working with us. Dr. Jafar got his PhD in nuclear physics at the age of 23. Exactly. I got mine at 33 and I'm jealous. So he got his at 23 and he was quite advanced in the way and he got it from the University of Birmingham in England. And for the next 3 or 4 years, he worked for the university himself. They recruited him back to work for them. And then he went to the European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN, which is the most prestigious nuclear testing area anywhere in the world. After which he came back to Iraq in 1975. And he joined the Iraqi nuclear program. And then he became ultimately the leading scientist for the nuclear program. And probably in the 90s, he became the deputy chair for the Academy of Science of Iraq.
And today he's here.
Today, luckily for us, he is here and he is with us now.
And what's the most important thing that you really learned from him?
Well, his experience, his experience went along with his career. In his career, because he was working in Iraq, he was working on the nuclear program. And there's a lot of experience and science that you get from the nuclear program. But in 1991, we had the Gulf War. Now, in the Gulf War, the Allied forces decided to drop something like 88,500 tons of explosives on Iraq. And Well, if you consider it to Hiroshima, they only had 15,000 in Hiroshima. We had 85,000. And they targeted all our electricity plants. I think they only left 2 hydroelectric plants in the north that were not touched. Everything else was destroyed. Iraq was immediately put under the severest sanction embargo process ever. So there was no chance for you to buy anything, new machinery, or to buy spare parts. The Iraqi administration at the time went to Dr. Jafar and said, we have no electricity and I need this to be rectified. And Dr. Jafar said, I will be able to do it if I take full authority. So the president of the time said, I will give you full authority to handle it, but you need to handle all the structure. So Dr. Jafar initiated a program where he immediately sent out teams to evaluate exactly what damage happened to every single one of our power stations. And then made a cannibalization process where he would go to the most damaged power station and salvage out parts that are viable or could be fixed, and took them out and took them to the least damage and rectified it. And this is under quite a lot of stress as well, because this thing was quite active. He also utilized some of the assets that had not been destroyed from the Ministry of Industry to try to rectify some of these parts and put them back into use. Long story short, within a short period of between 24 to 28 months, he was able to bring back 80% of Iraq's capacity at that time.
Very, very huge story.
It's a huge story, and it's a feather in his cap, because that, with all the difficulties that there were at the time, with not being able to bring in anything, you had to do it all by hand yourself.
I'm really impressed about this.
Believe me, we're all impressed as well.
Yeah,
it's a difficult thing to do. And it needs somebody who has the organizational understanding to do it. It's not just an idea, it's the way you have to do it. And we try to tell our friends in Iraq, you have somebody like this, you should listen to him a lot more.
And today, how does the URUK translate a strategic vision?
Well, our vision has always been Iraq focused. We want to rehabilitate Iraq for the betterment of its people and its governments. We want the country to rise again in a way which would represent its history far better than it is at this moment in time. But there are difficulties, and you need to work within them. Most of us in the company are Iraqis. A lot of us also have had jobs within the bureaucracy of Iraq, so we understand their bureaucracy very well. And that helps us in many ways, because they can't throw misdirect us in any way. We know the system and how it works, and we can follow it quite well. For this reason, URUK has not yet failed to deliver any project over there not on time. They were all on time. And this is quite unique. And we follow the international standards. I think in our last project we did, which is Mansouriya power plant, which is a 724 megawatt plant, quite a big one. I have photos I can show you. So the Mansouriya power plant was a 724 megawatt plant, which is one of the largest plants that we carried out. It was done on time. The only difficulty that we did not have the coordination from the Ministry of Oil to deliver the gas to the plant so it can start to be. So there was a little delay because we couldn't commission because the gas was not available. And then they had to get a gas pipe all the way from Iran to provide gas for the station. So these things need to be better coordinated than they are at the moment.
And at that moment, it's very hard to operate it.
You couldn't operate it without the gas. It's just, it was all commissioned, it's all done, everything. But we had a little bit more fun and games, and this is part of what we'll discuss also about security, which is, we're working in Mansouriya, we're working in the Diyala province, and there were a lot of activities between ISIS and all that. And as we finished our work and were waiting for the gas, Daesh or ISIS decided to come and pay a visit. Now, one of the areas that everybody should, working in any country, is work on the principle that you work with an outreach program, an employment program, and get to meet the elder program. So in the elder program, we talk about tribal chiefs, the people, the outreach to the people to get them jobs on your projects, small jobs, whatever it is, and then involve the local police force, give them responsibilities for it. We have our own security inside the plant, but all the security outside is the responsibility of the police. And when we got a visit by Daesh was quite a significant fighting force. But because we had already planned for this, we knew this might happen. There was no life lost with us. They took it over. The tribal relationships kicked in, and then they ultimately ended up listening to reason, and they let all our people out. They only took from us some cars and some firearms from the security people, for our security people, and they went away.
And the situation, I remember, it's a little bit hard at that moment that they are there. So how URUK today operate under complex logistic and security conditions?
Well, we have our own setup on the security side. So we've set up quite a protective element, and we have a specific methodology in which we make our camps. We put T-walls, we put protections, we use all kinds of electronics to ensure that people will not come at the night and we can't find who's who. And we have our own security force inside for protection, and we coordinate with the oil police force outside our buildings on the electricity. And that's usually how we make it. And things have started to quiet down to some degree, but you always have to be vigilant.
So, Dr. Mashal, you talk about a little bit the logistic and security condition in URUK, but I need to know more about the key challenge that your URUK faced and how your company and you come over of this.
Well, there are two things about when you go into any area that there is an element of security issues. It helps a lot if you from the locale. إذا أنت ابن البلد, you can move freely in somewhat dangerous areas that somebody not from that ilk will not be able to do. And all of us are Iraqis, and we're all quite familiar with the situation. But we also, as a company, we need to formulate very good relationships with tribal leaders in the area. We have to formulate relationships with the local population, either through bringing them some employment or building some of their infrastructure, like we would build a small medical facility for them. Things that will serve and get the goodwill to come back to us. And that's one of the ways that we start to alleviate. Because once they're on your side, even more dangerous people will not want to cross these people. He will take you on, but he won't want to cross the people around him. Remember, in any insurgency, anywhere in the world, if the local populations do not acquiesce to it, it will not succeed. They have to.
True.
Not participate, but acquiesce. Hide them, take them, feed them. If that stops, insurgencies die. So there's a little bit of that. And I felt Daesh went a little too hard. When Daesh went around some places, a lot of people thought that they might be good for us. But when they started doing what they did, people started to say, I'm sorry, this is not for us. But it's a learning experience, unfortunately.
It is one of the key challenge to you. And exactly what's the difference in URUK that related to EPC deliveries models?
We don't claim to be any different from any international EPC company. That's not the claim we're making. The claim we make is that we are the best EPC company working in Iraq because we can translate all the ISO standards of our business effectively in Iraq, where other companies who are not as familiar will fail to do so. So we can maintain the standard and we can always mobilize quickly. Mobilization has two facts to it. The mobilization, you need to have equipment, which URUK already has and owns in Iraq. And the second, you need to know how to recruit. And when you want to recruit strong recruits. And we know through our databases, nearly everyone in the region, what he does, what's his expertise, what certification does he have, and we recruit them quickly. This allows us to fast track our delivery of our service. And that's an important part of working in any area like that.
As you know, Dr. Mashal, the agenda of the UAE, it's focused 100% about the AI and sustainability. How today URUK apply this in your agenda and company to be parallel with the big agenda for the UAE?
AI is a very powerful weapon. And we, like any other powerful weapon, I think there's always needs to be some time to learn how to utilize it. If I was to give you a gun, I should always teach you how to use it first to make it safe. Now, we have been given AI, but nobody's told us exactly how we can ensure that we don't do something that... I think AI is the future, I have no doubts. And I also know that AI will change the employment picture drastically. There'll be a lot of people who their current jobs will disappear and they need to be retrained to do something else. But I think all in all, I'm a fan of AI. I think it's a good thing. I also believe that AI will have the capability of bringing our part of the world upwards. I say this because AI is relatively easy to use, and you ask it questions, it gives you good answers. For those people, and as Arabs, I found in our nature, we like to be able to talk about what we know that other people don't know. It's kind of a bragging little thing. I say that in jest, but there is there is some element of competition between us of what we do and what we don't know. And I think AI will start to get most people who would not even look at a book to start to interact with AI and get himself into more understanding. It will be slightly chaotic in the beginning, but I think if it's organized well, AI can be an equalizer and save us the time of trying to get to where the West is, because we are really quite far away.
Fantastic. And what about the sustainability?
Sustainability, from our part, we work with gas turbine generators, and gas is probably the best, cleanest hydrocarbon in the whole hydrocarbon element. What we also encourage them to do is have a combined cycle process. What you do is you have an open cycle, which is where the GTGs live. The GTG will generate electricity and then throw out an eluate of gas at roughly 550 degrees centigrade, which is very hot. The idea here is to get a boiler and put this gas in so it can create more steam from the boiler, and that steam will move a steam turbine. So you increase your efficiency from 31% to about 61%.
It's supporting the sustainable.
And you have not used any more fuel. It's the same fuel. But just that process, that runaround, gets you nearly doubles your output.
Decrease the fuel.
The fuel stays the same, but the fuel is being burned. It brings out from the, if you like, for every time you burn something, you need to have it out of a chute.
Yeah.
That chute is 550 degrees centigrade. So if you take that chute and put it into a boiler, that will boil more, all the water in that boiler. You have more and more steam, you get more and more power.
So how you see the future? How URUK today to see the future, especially in GCC region? What is the project that you are looking at to work with the GCC countries?
Within our region, we have two obvious things that we have to work with. One of them is sun. We have a lot of sun, so solar is for us. The other thing, we have oil and gas. We're going to have to work with that. I mean, I don't think we're going to just all of a sudden stop having oil and gas. The problem with the solar, it needs batteries. And these batteries need to be very efficient, and we've not got there yet. So solar park generates, if you take the battery out, for example, if I have a solar park of 100 megawatts, I've created a 100 megawatt solar park. Over a 24-hour period, it's going to give me 25 megawatts. But if I have a gas turbine generator for 100 megawatts, I'll probably get 99 megawatts out of it.
It's going to be less.
It's going to be less. No, it's going to be much more. It will generate far more than the solar one. To give you an example of why solar is going to be the name of the game, if I was to sit here now and go like this, 6, yes? That, in those 6 minutes, if we could have caught all the solar rays that landed on Earth, in those 6 seconds, we would have got the same amount of energy that we spent all around the world last year in 6 seconds. So the power of it is there, but how do you capture it, how do you keep it, and how do you store it? And that's where the work is going to be.
It's very huge number, I see.
This is a solar system. So solar has its name on the door. You're going to have to use it. And it's clean, it's useful, but you have nighttime. What do you do during nighttime? You need to have something to store, and that storage should be able to carry you through. Once those stores become effective, then I think oil and gas will have to start to do different things other than electricity.
So the plans for the URUK in 2026?
We are obviously looking in projects in Iraq, but we're also starting to think about some projects within the GCC area as well. We are quite a nifty type of operation, and we believe that there could be some value add for us entering into the markets and improving the competition, and competition is good for any industry.
You have something specific here in Dubai?
At the moment, no. No.
Fantastic. So let's back a little bit to you again.
Sure.
So when we start from you. So today you have a very long journey and great stories and great experience. What is the secret that you want to share it today to the youth talking to the camera direct, to tell them to move in their life, to how to success, not afraid from failure. What you want to exactly tell them in the camera?
Now, I've written a book about anxiety and panic. This book is directed towards patients who have anxiety and do not know how to handle their panic, to set that aside. We need to combat that element in the young. The young, with the social media atmosphere, have become less, if you like, interactive in the normal way. And this might, in the longer term, give us different problems. But if anyone wanted to come into this profession, I would tell them that construction is going to continue. People are not, numbers are growing, people are getting older. We're going to need more space to build. And that will be in all parts, building industry, with the understanding that AI will take out quite a bit of that work with robotics and AI. We understand that those things will affect it, but it will never kill it. There needs to be an innovative methodology that we will bring to that table. But you have to be very well versed in the profession of construction. And construction is not just technical information. It's an art. You have to understand finance. You have to understand how to analyze a contract. All of these things. You need to communicate, because you're going to speak to a lot of people. You'll speak to subcontractors, clients, consultants. All of them can be prima donnas all of a sudden. You need to be able to communicate with those, because if good knowledge gets you in, it's your communication that will keep you in. It's a very important part of the construction industry.
So, Dr. Mashal, 24 years in the UAE. Am I right? What do you want to say today to the leaders, to them? And I prefer to say it in Arabic. You told me, we discussed before.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، أما بعد. يسعدني ويشرفني بأن أتقدم باسمي وباسم شركة أورك للهندسة والمقاولات بالشكر الجزيل لقيادة دولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة، وعلى رأسهم أصحاب السمو حكام الإمارات، على الدعم القيم الذي منح لشركتنا في تنفيذ مشاريع إنشاء البنى التحتية في العراق. نحن نرى أن هذا الدعم يجسد الروابط الأخوية بين القطرين الشقيقين، وبنفس الوقت نراه انعكاسا للرؤية الإنسانية التي تتبناها قيادة الدولة الإمارات العربية في دعم استقرار وتنمية الدول الشقيقة. إن مساهمة دولة الإمارات في إعمار العراق يمثل نموذجا رائدا للتعاون الخليجي العربي، ونحن فخورون بأن نكون جزءا من هذه المسيرة التنموية تحت مظلة الدعم الإماراتي الفعال. نسأل الله أن يديم عليكم الصلاح والنجاح، وأن يوفقكم في قيادة مسيرة البر والنماء، ويحفظكم ذخرا للأمة، ومن الله التوفيق.
Thank you, Dr. Mashal. Really, it's a very grateful word and nice word. I would like to ask you to thank you, Dr. Mashal and Nawab, the Chief Strategic Officer of URUK. We are so happy to highlight the lovely story and inspired story.
You are very kind. I enjoyed the session.
So thank you. We are reaching at the end of our story. But as usual, we keep searching about the most important effect story and inspire. So this is a big chance to everyone who watching us to learn from this story. Especially they are here in the UAE. Thank you and keep watching us as usual.